My dear listeners, I am disturbed. I am disturbed not because I found that the left is insane, but I've found that there is a good, significant portion of Christendom that takes the leftist ideology and at least entertains the notions. And when I say entertains the notions, they're specifically entertaining the notion that power plus prejudice equals X immorality. Now, this immorality could be theft, it could be rape, it could be racism itself, and this is a deep and concerning issue for me, because we as Christians shouldn't be duped by this false claim that any form of morality comes from this magical woke cocktail of power plus prejudice. And the reason why a Christian shouldn't be duped into this notion of power plus prejudice equaling immorality is because Christians have the benefit, the boon, the foundation of believing in a God who is both good and all-powerful. That's kind of one of the basic assumptions of a good Christian, is that you believe in God, He is good, and He is all-powerful. So, as Christians, we need to break down the unspoken premises of this formula. Now, even on the side of the left's use of this formula, power plus prejudice equals bad, the assumption of the examples that rape, racism, and theft are all in fact inherently immoral is something that they grant. Anything that they say this formula can pump out as being immoral, we would generally agree with. Rape is immoral. Racism is mostly immoral. Theft is immoral. So the primary issue is not with the normal assumption that these things are immoral. The issue is the premise that they are immoral because of power. We as Christians have to take issue that it is power itself that makes any of these things evil. Whatever makes these things wrong in the world that we live in, we cannot assume as Christians that power itself is what makes them wrong. And the reason for that is because we as Christians have the benefit of looking up to an authority figure like God, who is not only powerful, and nay, not just powerful, but all-powerful. He is, by definition, good. One of the premises of being a Christian is the assumption, the assertion, that God is all-powerful and good. So, we have the benefit of being able to re-examine this formula of power plus prejudice. And we can do so in such a way that we can actually isolate the attribute of power itself, and assuming that there is an individual, there is an entity who is the embodiment of power, that they are the standard of what raw, true power looks like. We have an individual who is, at least hypothetically, all-powerful and who has all responsibility for their power. We have God. Now, again, another premise that we have is that God, being all-powerful, is also good and moral. And these two beliefs for all Christendom is not unreasonable. They are actually rather common. So here we have God, who has all power. And more than that, He holds all of it and is supremely responsible for His power and the agency He uses it in. So we get the benefit of taking a step back and looking at the embodiment of power itself, with looking at the all-powerful God and saying, does power plus prejudice equal immorality or evil, does God fulfill the other half of the equation? Could the left, theoretically, place God in such a position or in such a light where it appears that he has exercised prejudice? Well, we have to address the question. God, having all power and being good, does have the benefit of being the arbiter of what is good and evil. This does, on some level, require God to act on his own bias and personal inclination. That is an aspect of being an all-powerful being. Your inclinations, your biases, your, shall we say, personal tastes do affect all of creation, almost by default. Even worse, despite having these biases, this lived experience, we can call it, has this all-powerful being, God, engaged in favoritism? Has he arbitrarily shown preference to one group of people over all other groups of people? Has God even encouraged this favored group to exterminate other non-favored groups? Because if he has done any and all of these things, they are clear signs of prejudice. And the simple fact of the matter is, of course, anyone who has read the scriptures and anyone who knows and loves God as he has revealed himself knows that God has done every single one of those things to a T, down to the letter. Even from the most abstract to the most concrete, God has exercised great prejudice in his interactions with man. Therefore, God has both power and prejudice. And according to the left, this would make him an immoral agent. This would define God as an evil entity, being, or force. However, this is where the Christians and the leftists come at an irreconcilable impasse, you might say, because God, to the Christian, is defined by his goodness. He is defined by being an absolutely powerful and good force in the universe. Whereas, if you were to take the leftist interpretation of who and what God is, he is, by their equation, evil. And that is why Christians should never fall for this formula. We know, based from our own assumptions of the world, know that God, being good, cannot be redefined as evil. Therefore, there must be something wrong with the formula. There might be something wrong with the idea that power plus prejudice equals immorality. And let me explain why. The reason why is because power itself holds no morality. Now, you might say that people who are in powerful positions have great opportunity to be immoral and have used that power to be immoral. You're right. But the power itself is not immoral. Everything done in the purview of power can be for good or evil. Therefore, power itself cannot be defined as evil. It cannot be defined as immoral. The use of power cannot automatically be used as a beating stick to assume that everything that comes out of it is evil or immoral, because there is no morality attached to power. But that's not what they're going to tell you. That's not how the subversion works. That's not how the subversion tactic is applied. What they first preach to us is that God is moral and God wants you to be moral like the left. Therefore, you must do what they tell you or else. The fact of the matter is, that's not where it stops. It's not going to stop with you bending over to their will or even accepting their premises and their worldview. This ends with the complete destruction of God and who he is. That's where this ends. And that is why, from the complete outset, no one who calls themselves a Christian can accept the formula of power plus prejudice in any facet of their lives, because doing so completely destroys and mocks the very power that God holds over their lives. And that is why power plus prejudice does, in fact, equal atheism. I have been Carnal, and I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.